What it is up the day, guys. This is Alone as the Key 86. What is up the day? I don't know. Anyway, guys, hey, welcome back to Alone as the Key 86 channel. I have not done a video in probably close to 6 months to a year. I guess for a lot of people probably like drop dead or whatever, but that's not the case. Today, as just a welcoming back, I know a lot of people like ghost stories, paranormal stories, etc., etc. I actually have I have more than just one, but I have several ghost stories, and the first one I will share with you is actually when I first moved into my first apartment. I graduated in 2005, and 2006 I decided to move out of my parents' house and, you know, start living a life and taking care of myself. Well, this place, the building itself, I guess could have sent off the radars right away, but at first I didn't get any vibes. I moved in there during the summer, and well, actually it was late summer, and long story short, like, you know, the first 3 weeks of living there, like, nothing happened. Like, it was perfectly just amazing. It was nice. I was like, I had my own space. I had freedom. I could leave whenever I wanted, come home whenever I wanted, do whatever I wanted, bring over whoever I wanted. I had that freedom, you know, and that's a great feeling, to have freedom. Well, long story short, it was about 4 weeks of living there, so a month. I noticed little things started happening at first, like my car keys. I'd put them on the kitchen table, and when I would go to get them or retrieve them to leave, they would be on my nightstand in my bedroom. And it kind of freaked me out, because it was like, what's going on? You know, like, why is all this stuff happening? You know, and I just thought, maybe in the back of my head, oh, okay, I just must have not remembered putting him in my bedroom, you know. Anyway, I ended up getting this kitten. This lady had a litter of kittens, and she was giving them away for free, and, you know, I picked one up. And this kitten, you know, gray and white little cat, beautiful kitten, well, anyway, I brought it home, and I had him in a little box, you know, a little box, and a little blanket and stuff in it. And I set him down in the kitchen, took him out of the box, and put him on the floor. And this little kitten never left the kitchen. I ended up having to put the litter box in there and his food in there, because when I put it in the bathroom and his food in the bathroom, he would not leave the kitchen. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little awkward. I just thought maybe, you know, he was still trying to get used to and familiarized with his new surroundings, so I didn't think anything of it. Well, one day I was sitting down with the kitten on the couch, and he was freaking out. He always, like, squirmed. If he wasn't outside in the kitchen area, like, he'd bring him in the living room, dining room, or bedroom with you, he gets really squirmy, and like he wants to get out of there. And well, we were sitting down, and I used to be a real big fan of Jerry Springer when I was younger. I just thought, you know, like, it was the greatest show ever. Anyway, I'm sitting there, and I hear this noise coming from my bedroom. Now, a little backstory on my bedroom. It's summer, okay? The rest of my apartment is super insanely hot. I couldn't afford an air conditioner at the time. I just had fans running. Well, anyway, I hear this noise, and I walk into my bedroom, and my bedroom is, like, super insanely cold. Like, it brought the hairs on my neck, and, like, just all over my body just stood up. And I kept hearing this, like, it wasn't a loud pounding. It almost sounded as if, like, my neighbors were making noise. So, you know, I walked out of the room. I left the apartment. I went upstairs, and, like, it was going on for about a half an hour straight, and it was getting kind of annoying. So I went upstairs to the neighbor, and I asked them if they could keep the pounding noise down, and the gentleman that lived up there with his wife, they claimed that they weren't pounding on anything, etc., etc. And I didn't have anybody next to me or the other side of me. It was only upstairs. And that kind of creeped me out a little bit. Again, I kind of shrugged it off, like, dude, you're going to drive yourself nuts thinking that this place is haunted and you're just going to go crazy, I'm thinking of Amityville Horror, like, freaking guy goes nuts, like, that just, I was like, alright, I need to mellow out. Skip about 2 weeks after those several instances, I had a friend of mine come over. His name is Gabe. He was chilling at my house, and he was like, dude, you know what we should do? We should totally, like, do a board game night and invite a lot of friends over, and we'll drink some beers and shoot the shit, like old days. And I'm like, yeah, I'm far out, yeah. By all means, go ahead. Well, long story short, after that incident, we were all sitting there, and my kitten, this girl picked the kitten up. She was holding it, and she set it on this recliner. Not the one I'm sitting on now, but it was a different one at the time. She sits the kitten down on the reclining chair. And all of a sudden it just starts, like, making this horrendous, like, meowing, creepy sound. Like it was pissed. Well, with that being said, the next minute we know, we're all sitting at the table, and this kitten, literally, without anything physically picking it up, it just fucking got launched into a wall, and it fell to the floor, and it just laid there. I thought it was dead. It scared me. So we're all just kind of in a state of shock and awe, like, what the fuck was that? So we go over to the kitten, and luckily enough, the kitten was still alive, and I ended up bringing it to the vet and stuff. The vet said it was okay and all this, and he asked me what happened, and I just had to make up a story, because how do you explain that to somebody and be like, oh, okay, you freaking kook? Like, they'd look at you like you're nuts. So, meanwhile, anyway, before we took the cat to the vet, we just, put him in a little towel, kind of wrapped him up, because he felt really cold, and brought him to the vet, like I said, and he was okay, made it out fine, no broken bones or anything, which was great. I ended up getting rid of the kitten, because I was fear for the kitten, just in case next time it didn't make it, and something, or even something worse happened to it. I ended up giving him to an elderly lady that adopts cats, and the cat's, probably about, see, I was about 20, 21 when I moved in that place. I'm now 30, so the cat's about 9 years old now, and as far as I know, I would assume it's still alive. I could be wrong, but I'm assuming for the best that the cat's still alive. Well, after bringing the cat to the vet, my friends were still at the apartment, and they were trying to make sense of it, but they weren't in the apartment. They were actually sitting in their cars and sitting out on the front porch, which is totally understandable. I said, alright guys, I was like, we can either wrap this up, we can go somewhere else, or we can continue the board game. I said, maybe the cat jumped off the chair, because it's a rocking recliner, and if that recliner, like, slings, and the cat's jumping at the same time, it could potentially launch the cat. Like, I'm not saying like a catapult or anything, but it could have done that. And they were like, I don't know, man, it just doesn't seem right, and I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like, I've always tried, because I'm not a firm believer in paranormal until, these instances started happening. Skipping to October, because there was a few months in between there where, little things happened, but not as crazy it did with the cat. Well, I started dating this one girl, and I'm just going to leave her name out, because we're not together anymore, and I don't feel that it's necessary for me to bring her name up into this, but I was dating this one girl. She was an Italian girl, and she was sleeping in the bed, and I was watching Comedy Central. My shirt was off. I'm sitting at the foot of the bed, and my feet kind of dangled up because our bed sat fairly high in the air. My feet were dangling, and all of a sudden, like, I know what a muscle cramp feels like. I know what a spasm feels like. This was neither of the two. It felt as if someone, like, this is my toe. It felt like if someone was going like this and wiggling my big toe back and forth. I fucking looked down. I thought maybe, something has to be explained to this. There's nothing there. I jumped back, like I pushed off the bed and I scooted up to the headboard. And all of a sudden, it fucking grabs onto the top of my foot near where my foot and ankle connect, and it yanks me. I gripped her leg so hard that my fingerprints were literally bruised onto her leg, and I'm screaming. Like, I'm freaking. She wakes up from the pain of me grabbing and plus the noise that I'm making, and she sees my body, like my chest is down like this, but from where my chest to my shoulders is touching the bed, but the rest of it was kind of up in the air, and she's freaking out. And she has this silver cross necklace that her grandmother gave to her, and she, like, snatched it off and said, "God, protect," and, like, threw this damn thing, or something along those lines that she said. And all of a sudden, it just let me go. I said, "I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't give a shit anymore. This is it. I'm done." I left everything in that apartment. I went up to my mom's house. I told her what had happened. She kind of thought I was nuts, and I never went back. Meanwhile, the landlord, the person I paid rent to, she's very big into paranormal, and we have a excuse me. We have a ghost team that does. I live in the Mohawk Valley in upstate New York. They have a ghost paranormal team that comes around and will investigate your places and stuff for free. And she hired these guys to come in there, and they did a bunch of tests, experiments, yada yada yada, and a lot of research on this place that I lived. And apparently this place used to be part of the Underground Railroad. And not only that, there was apparently a father and son that lived in there in the late 40s, 50s era. And he ended up hanging his son in one of the closets and hanging himself afterwards, which that sent chills, and it still gives me chills to this day. But they said that there was two human spirit entities and one non-spirit human entity. And I asked what that was supposed to mean, and they said it could potentially be a demonic presence. And I ended up having to throw away a bunch of dishes because I didn't even wash any of my dishes when I left. I left for like a month. I didn't go back to that place. I paid for a month of rent in the beginning of October and didn't even live there for that whole entire month. And I called my landlord up and said, "I'm done. I'm out." But that's one of many ghost stories that I will share with you. I also have a Bigfoot story that I wouldn't mind sharing at a later time. But like I said, I'll try to do, if I can squeeze in time to do 2 videos a week, I'll do 2 videos a week. But until that time, I'm sorry, and unfortunately, I cannot. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. The more I get enthused, the more that I want to do these things. Not just to be on YouTube, but to entertain, as well as doing things for the viewers themselves. So, alright guys, again, alone is the key, 86, and I'm signing out. Thank you guys, and peace.